Hello, everybody. This is a bit odd for me because it's the final day of 2020, and I have not done a podcast since February, and I have not done a video in at least 3 months. I think it's been maybe 2 months. I haven't even gone back to look. So I've been a little bit unmotivated, as you could say. I think that's probably a very common feeling amongst a lot of people, especially amongst a lot of creatives at this time. It's just been a tough year, and I don't want to blame all of my problems on COVID because I've been healthy. My family's been healthy, and we haven't seen a lot of the hardship that many families have seen, many people have seen all over the globe and here in our country. But still, I just think there's been a national climate and a worldwide climate of kind of depression and just a little bit of a hopelessness. There's been so much that's gone on in the world in the last 9 months that has just really put a damper on a lot of things. And I have found it very difficult to dig in and get creative, and just to, not that this is even really that creative of a process, for me to record a podcast or a video is not necessarily creative in the fullest sense of the word, but still just to find the motivation to actually just get this microphone out and set it up and talk to you guys about anything related to photography. It's just been kind of a blah kind of year, and I've had quite a few trips get canceled that I was supposed to take with McKay Photography Academy, which you could say, well, boo-hoo, because the fact that I even get to do that at all is incredible. But still, it just puts a damper on things. And it's just been hard to, other than the work that I've done, in photography, the shoots that I've done and the opportunities that I've had, which have actually been more than I thought they would be. Other than that, it's just to try to do anything in the periphery of that. I've just been putting it off and trying to just stay busy with other things and tangible things that I can work on around the house and fixing the cars and doing this, that, and the other. But I say all of that to say I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope that that this year, as hard as it's been for so many folks, I hope that you're thriving, and I look forward to 2021. I know that at the stroke of midnight tonight, it's not like everything just changes. It's not like everything is just going to be so much better. It's just a number, the year. But hopefully it signifies a new beginning in a lot of ways. And hopefully, if you're a creative and if you're somebody who is pursuing photography and you're just trying to take your craft to the next level, take your skill set to the next level, and your shooting abilities, your editing abilities to the next level, I hope that 2021 can be kind of like a clean slate, that you can begin to do that in. There's so much joy to be found in taking great photographs and learning how to edit them and how to print them large and deliver them. And I really want you to thrive in that this year, and I want to thrive in it as well. And maybe it's time to set new goals. Maybe it's time to set some attainable goals and grow in that. And if you're just a hobbyist or somebody who you're not really trying to make a living doing photography, I kind of say hats off to you, because making a living in photography is not easy. But at the same time, if you are somebody who is trying to make a living, or at least trying to make partial living in photography, I hope this coming year can be a season of great growth and development in you and for you. There are so many exciting technologies and software and all this stuff available to us, that if you'll just take the time to read and watch videos and learn from other photographers, and maybe get together when it's safe and when you're able to with other photographers, to just kind of glean some wisdom from one another and learn a few new things about your camera and about, what to look for when you're actually shooting, and then what to do with these images when it comes time to edit them. Maybe this is a great year for you to really set some goals for that. If you are really trying to build a business out of this, this is a great time to maybe begin setting goals, because, eventually all of this lockdown and the social distancing and all the things that have kind of prohibited us from really getting out there and really making something happen, that stuff is going to begin to subside. It just is. And we don't know how long it'll be, but it's definitely I think we're going to start heading in the right direction for that. And you want to be primed and ready for the opportunities when they arrive. But I do want to just speak quickly, and this is going to be a short episode because there's not a whole lot more to say. But, one of the things I think has been difficult for me this year, and I would imagine this is true for a lot of photographers and a lot of creatives, not just photographers, anybody in the arts, is we are so inundated day in and day out by this feeling that we have to have this huge following on social media, and you hear the term influencer, and you hear that all the likes that somebody gets in their for their photos or their work that they're displaying, that they're sharing with their audience. We can get so caught up in the likes and the followers and how many Instagram followers did I get this week, and how many, even worse, how many did I lose, which I've seen my numbers go down. I just haven't been that engaged, and I would imagine a lot of you haven't as well. It's just kind of been one of those years where it's just like, what's the point? It can feel that way sometimes. And I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer about that, but it's just the way it feels sometimes. And I just urge you, because I'm urging myself the same, is to kind of, as much as we can, silence those voices that tell us that our self-worth or our worthiness as a photographer is going to be found in a silly little like that you get when you post something. It's so easy to think that is like the measure of our worth as artists, as creatives, or as even just people trying to become artists or pursuing that. And it can be discouraging. That is a no-win kind of game, I think. And there's never really any satisfaction, because you're always wanting more. And I say that the satisfaction is going to come from you just working really hard, putting aside all that stuff, and just setting some attainable goals for growth, so that 12 months from now you can look back and say, look what I've done. I mean, look at these 5, 6 images, 10 images, whatever it's going to be. Maybe it's just one. But things that you can look back and say, I learned so much this year. I grew so much in this year. And that's what's going to matter. And that's what's going to give you that dignity and that sense of pride in what you do. Not Instagram and Facebook likes. That stuff is fleeting. And I say that as somebody who gets caught up in it. Let's face it, in your brains, there's a dopamine rush that happens every time somebody likes something of yours, or you see somebody follows you, or somebody shares what you did. You get this little dopamine hit, and it's addictive. And so, I don't shame people for being caught up in that, because I've been caught up in it too. But I think there's a way that we can really grit our teeth a little bit and say, no, I'm not going to bow to that thing that is promising me a sense of self-worth that is just completely hollow and empty. So I hope that's somewhat of an encouragement to you. I really want to get back into this, the podcast, the videos, because I've gotten a great response so far. I've had quite a few people commenting and sharing the podcast with other folks. I still see the reports of people who are downloading it, and it's been very encouraging. It's not massive numbers, but as I was just saying about not finding our self-worth and likes and all of that, I'm not really caught up in that with the podcast, with the videos. And there are dozens and dozens of other photographers and creatives out there who are doing way more in as far as numbers, and they've got massive followings. And I would love to have that, but I want to have that naturally, not from me just forcing it and trying to push that on everybody. And and the last thing I'll say is I'm a perfectionist, and if you're a perfectionist like myself, you can probably attest to this, that a lot of times where kind of our Achilles heel as perfectionists is that we won't put out work, we won't push ourselves, and we won't really contribute, because if it can't be perfect, then we're just not going to release it. We're not going to let people see it or hear it or experience it. And I just think that is such a horrible philosophy to live by. there's an expression, I don't know who came up with it, but it's basically, do not let the perfect become the enemy of the good. And I know that has been just a real shortcoming for me for a lot of years. If I can't do it perfectly, then I don't want to do it at all. And man, you will never get anywhere in life if that's your goal. I'm all about excellence. I'm all about pushing yourself to get better and better. But I think that's one of the things that's held me back from doing this more and from the videos is just, it's got to be perfect. I've got to look like I'm a complete pro. I've got to have everything just down, like looking and sounding amazing. And I'm a one-man show. I do all of it. I do the recording, the editing, all of it. And it's hard to do all of that and to do it well and often alongside trying to be a photographer and trying to make a living doing that. So, but I say that as just a little reminder to myself and to you that we don't need to let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Let's put our work out there. Let's don't put garbage out there just for the sake of, clutter, but, allow yourself to make mistakes and allow yourself to take risks and challenge yourself to do things that you might fail at. Because you also might not fail. Or even if you do fail, you might learn some valuable lessons in that failure, in that mistake, or whatever it may be, where you fall short. You might learn something really valuable and grow. And so that's my challenge to you guys, and especially to myself at the end of 2020. We've only got a few hours left of this year. And I wish you a wonderful 2021. Let's make this one count. And that's all I've got to say. God bless.